I was very devastated. All of a sudden, here I was lying in a bed and not able to do very much. So I looked at ways that my body couldn't go do, but my mind could take me and do. I guess I have a deep faith, and I guess the core of who I am gave me the strength to go on and help me to be very resilient.
It is sometimes easy for health professionals to focus on problems, on deficits, or on pathology. But in recent years, a strengths-based approach has been gaining momentum. Instead of just asking, what's wrong with this person or this situation, health professionals are now assisting clients to identify and to use their strengths and assets when dealing with difficult situations that they are experiencing. In conjunction with this shift in paradigm, research studies and clinical observations bear witness to the fact that many people actually do quite well in the face of adversity, a phenomenon known as resilience. This video program focuses on resilience within the context of health crises. To illustrate the many facets of resilience, as well as the factors contributing to the development and maintenance of resilience, we will focus on the experience of Doreen, who experienced a number of adverse life events. Doreen's husband, Roy, and her 3 sons, Andrew, Graham, and Peter, will also be featured in the video. In 2002, Doreen's eldest son, Andrew, became critically ill after a complete bowel obstruction. He developed severe complications and was not expected to survive. He did recover after 4 weeks on a respirator in intensive care. Just a few weeks after Andrew was discharged from the hospital, Doreen suffered a spinal cord infarction, which resulted in bilateral paralysis from the waist down. This was followed by a lengthy rehabilitation and a lingering disability. 4 years after the spinal cord injury, Doreen was then diagnosed with breast cancer and underwent surgery, chemotherapy, and radiation. Today, she remains cancer-free. As we observe Doreen and her family reflecting and commenting on these events, especially Doreen's personal health crises, aspects of resilience which have pertinent implications for health professionals become evident. What is resilience? The word resilience originates from the Latin word resilire, which means to bounce back or spring back. In the literature, resilience is portrayed variably as a process, a psychological construct, a state trait, a strategy, and a blend of nature and nurture, which suggests that it may be modifiable. There are many definitions of resilience, with underlying common themes in all. These include the notion of the ability to bounce back from stress, to adapt to stressful situations, to remain healthy in spite of illness or some other significant adversity, and to actually thrive in spite of stress or adversity. For the purpose and context of this video program, Bonanno's definition of resilience will be used. Resilience pertains to the ability of adults in otherwise normal circumstances who are exposed to a potentially highly disruptive event, such as a health crisis, to maintain relatively stable, healthy levels of psychological and physical functioning, as well as have the capacity for generative experiences and positive emotions. Note in this definition the connotation of resilience as being a force within everyone. This universality is an important conceptualization for health professionals to have. All individuals have the power inherent within themselves to adjust to adversity. It is also essential for health professionals to realize that resilience can be fostered. The challenge for health professionals is to determine strategies to foster resilience within their clients. The definition of resilience also implies that even though a person can be dealing with significant health problems, he or she can still continue to live life to the fullest. In a sense, the health problem becomes secondary to living life. With respect to resilience and health crises, I like the imagery captured by the resilience study conducted by Edwards and Associates. One of the themes in this study was comparing resilience to viewing life from the ridge, which requires balance and perseverance to successfully navigate the unpredictable and the ever-changing terrain of daily life, attacking obstacles and envisioning possibilities, all within a fierce spirit of determination.
My purpose in life hasn't really changed, except that I feel the challenge to get there is a lot harder. The road that I had to travel is much more challenging. I never liked hearing any therapists or doctors say you will never or you can't do. Anybody would say that, in my mind I would always turn it around and say you wait and see. And I just never wanted to hear anybody say you can't or you won't. I will do what I can and I will work at it. I have a goal to go towards. It gives me hope.
There is much discussion in the literature about various protective factors which can operate in people's lives, insulating them from the adverse consequences of life events. Some of these factors can be seen as personal qualities of the individual. Others take on more of a relational nature between the person and significant others, or between the person and a higher being. And other factors are related to the broader environment which surrounds the person. This combination of factors help to answer the question, why do resilient people do so well? It is important for health professionals to be aware of the multiple factors which can serve to foster resilience. As Bonanno says, dysfunction cannot be fully understood without a deeper understanding of health and resilience. Let's look at some of these factors through the comments of Doreen and her family. Personal hardiness, a personality characteristic which includes self-confidence and self-mastery, determination and perseverance, and which sees challenge as opportunity for growth.
As a child, I always was one that I can do that, and that has carried through. I can remember when I was in rehab, and before I was able to stand, my physiotherapist was one that would step beyond the regular physios in what he would encourage me to be doing. He would want me to try something a little bit beyond, and I was always game to do that, and I was like, that really kicked in during my rehab. I can do that, and I used to be excited about that. Like, what are you going to get me to do today now that I didn't do yesterday that I can try today? I always wanted to try it.
She's a really strong-willed and independent woman, and I think that's what got her through it. She was determined that, you know, through all the struggles that she had, that she wasn't going to give up, and she wasn't going to lay down in her bed and stay there. She's working full time now, and she could be on disability, and she doesn't have to leave the door if she doesn't want to. But she chooses to go, and it's because she's determined.
Family hardiness involves retaining, maintaining, and/or regaining the ability to function after challenging events in the context of family life.
In my family, we've grown up with the idea that we never give up. If there's something that you want, you go for it, and even if there's a big obstacle in your way, you just you do what you have to do, and you reach your goal.
I guess the way we pulled together and turned to each other for support was to forget about any differences or disagreements we had. We didn't have major disagreements, but during that time we seemed to have zero.
Through the illness, they were there to do what they could and to do their part in their role and to help in a positive way with the illness. And I think that trait has pulled through and made them even stronger, I think, in their own lives now.
In the end, we all did fairly well. I mean, my brother's now a police officer, I'm going to MUN, and my oldest brother is an architect now, and my dad is doing fine, and my mom is also doing really fine. So in spite of everything, our whole family pulled through, and we're all doing well.
Spirituality, the ability to transcend the self. This includes religious faith and practices as an expression of spirituality. It includes hope, a spiritual need where there is the expectation of a positive future goal or outcome.
I've always had a deep